morning. Welcome to Tim's Thoughts. I want to answer a question that some of you may or may not have asked recently, and it's this. With everything that's going on, how can I worship? Well, I have a few answers, and they come from what worship looked like for a few people in the Bible. In Acts chapter 4, we see a man at the gate, this gate called Beautiful, and he was lame. Peter and John, they came up to him and they say, we don't have any money to give, but we're not hopeless, so get up and come with us. And so he got up. By the way, that's where worship starts. You just need to get going. But this guy starts jumping up and down and praising God, and he's running around in the temple courts for the first time. He's shouting and he's having a ball. And then all the people recognize him as the lame guy, and all of a sudden worship breaks out. Luke tells us of a woman who was a sinner. You can fill in the blanks with what sinner means. She heard that Jesus was in the house of a Pharisee eating, and she breaks in on this meal, and she comes over to Jesus and falls down and starts weeping on his feet. And with her hair, this woman is just wiping the feet of Jesus. Immediately, the religious folks rise up and start calling Jesus a fake, a phony. They say if he knew anything about this woman, he wouldn't let her anywhere near him. But Jesus is like, well, I do actually know her. Her name is this. He calls her by name. And she's like, how do you know my name? And he calls her by name again, and he says, thanks. Thank you for coming. And they're all like, what's wrong with you? And Jesus says this, he who has been forgiven little loves little. And then he said, she has many sins. And the one who has been forgiven much loves much. That's amazing. Isn't that such a lavish love? I don't want to overstep my bounds, but can I just say that is it possible sometimes that our church is full of too many people who have been forgiven too little? Maybe we should recognize a little more. We should recognize our need for forgiveness. That's another really good place to start where worship is concerned. The gospel tells us about Mary busting in on Jesus and breaking this pint of perfume on Jesus' head. An extravagant response. It's holding nothing back. It's not worrying about what other people say. It's seeing Jesus and trying in every way to get as much of herself as possible in front of Jesus, to tell Jesus thank you. It's crazy and it's wild and it's costly. And honestly, the darker the day in our lives get, that's when our worship becomes truer and truer. As a sacrifice of praise and a light that shines on Jesus. It's like Paul in 2 Timothy saying, I have fought the fight and I have finished the course and kept the faith. Through light and dark and thick and thin, I kept holding on to the hand that was pierced for me. Are you starting to see a pattern? Are you starting to get a picture of how we worship in times like these? We get up and we do something for Jesus. We reach out to Jesus. We move a little closer to Jesus, even if it costs. It's just worshiping. I mean, He's ready. He's worthy for us to worship. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.